All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Yes, it is I back in the BCV building. Do me a favor, please. You don't mind? Give me a one if you can hear me good, that the sound is clear, making sure there are no interruptions, there are no interference before we get into this stream. So let's do this. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell at the bottom of this video. That way, whenever I go live, post any content or information, you'll be one of the very first to view the content. You'd like to support the ministry financially, you can do that as well by hitting or clicking the information at the bottom as well through BCV Gear. If you want to support the ministry as well, you can do that. And I definitely appreciate that. Please do not use PayPal. PayPal is trash. Not doing that anymore. We are using Cash App and/or Zelle. So just make sure you are able to know what your options are should you choose to do so. We'll make sure if Facebook family is able to come into the building. Sometimes they're not able to do so. So we'll make sure that they are given that opportunity to jump into this live. All right, give me a minute here. Come on, Facebook. What's going on? What's really happening? You know, and I don't know if y'all know, but this new feature with Facebook, I don't like it. You know, some stuff you just need to leave alone. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix. But hey, what do I know? That's how Facebook is. All right. So please tag a friend, tag an enemy, tag someone that even may disagree with what I'm about to talk about on today. So thank you all for joining. Of course, my sister Q for the Soul. If you have not checked out the interview with my sister and I, she brought me on her channel once again to talk about encouragement. Basically, stay in your lane. If you have not seen that video, you missed out, but we have the replay and you can check it out on her channel. You can subscribe to her channel, Cure for the Soul. Also, Chelsea's live line, subscribe to her channel as well. There's many people that we appreciate and love and support who are trying to put out great content, godly content for the glory and honor of God. Hey, Chelsea, hey, I'm trying, sis, but I'm getting assistance. You know what I'm saying? I got somebody, you know, my sister's walking me through the process of doing that. I wish I had the time to actually create these things the way I want to, but I'm getting tutored as we speak. So it's it's cool, but I definitely appreciate that. Definitely trying to come up with it. Trying to be like y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's good. So again, please tag someone. Please share this information on your channel and on your page, because I believe this is important for us to do as well. But of course, first things first, as we always do, want to make sure that we are covering some house rules and making sure our bases are covered. So let's do this. Disclaimer. Under Title 17 USC Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And of course, the BCV podcast or broadcast hosted by yours truly, SaikoWoods, is a ministry which strives to address issues, spiritual, social, psychological, etc., from a biblical perspective and worldview, using the word of God, that is book, chapter, verse, as the final authority for faith, life, and practice. Psalm 19, verse 7 through 11, and also Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. Warning, disclaimer, my content to some may be deemed and perceived as offensive, harsh, mean, divisive, repulsive, sinful, and even anathema. To others like yourself, which I definitely appreciate, it is not. Therefore, it is your responsibility to be convinced in your own mind whether you can, in good conscience, continue to the following: view, engage, participate, consume, imbibe, support, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Romans chapter 14, verse 5b and verses 22 to 23. It is also the responsibility of you, the viewer, to govern and comport yourselves accordingly, not mine. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 10, which says, "For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one of us will give an account for the deeds done in the body, whether good or bad. It is not my fault if you act a fool, but it is my responsibility to put fools out. Therefore, the moderators, my trusted moderators, will definitely see you through and see you to those social media doors if you cannot behave yourself. And they have full autonomous control in doing that. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we know we have been talking about Kanye West, or actually Ye, because he has changed his name. So I want to remember to call him as he has desired to be called, Ye. Of course, old habits are hard to break sometimes, so you may give us some time. But nonetheless, we know that there have been a series of interviews that he has engaged in and has come on from, initially started with the drink champs, all the way to where he is now. I can't even remember all the interviews he's done now, but nonetheless, he has been charged. He has been charged with being an anti-Semite. Now, he claims to be Jewish. I don't believe he is. I believe, according to scripture, Kanye is a Gentile. Unless he has Jewish lineage by blood, don't know, never claimed that he did it at the time, unless he went to Ancestry.com or some type of, genealogical expert, not really sure. But nonetheless, he claims to be Jewish. That's up for debate. And that's not really the issue for me. The issue for me is now the pushback and the accusations of him being accused of being a racist, being anti-Semitic, because of statements and comments that he's made. Absolutely. Thank you, sis. It was Tucker Carlson first. Okay, so it was Tucker Carlson first. I thought it was drink champs, but that's fine. But what caused all of this confusion and commotion? Because it's not like Mr. Ye is a stranger to controversy. He has never been a stranger to controversy. He's never been a stranger to making statements that he has either doubled down on or has either had to back up and apologize. More so of the times that I have known him to make statements publicly, he's normally, have dug his heels in and have made his stance even more stern than other times. So, but of course, his statements that now has caused all of this uproar in our country, of a statement that he has made about Jews owning everything, but initially his statement was saying on Twitter that he's going to go DEFCON 3 on Jews. Now, of course, people take words, and if not in its proper context, it can be twisted. It can be made to mean something that it is not. Of course, again, I would have to say that Ye's own dad told him that he has to work on articulating himself better, so that when he makes statements that he has made like this before, there's no way to ignore the context unless you are just willfully and intentionally trying to slander and defame someone. Now, other than that, the question that I have is this, and you've seen the thumbnail, you see my question, and I'm just going to pose it here tonight. If Ye, or if Ye wants to cancel Ye, then what about Lupe Fiasco? What about Scarface? And last but definitely not least, what about Charlemagne the Coon? I mean, Charlemagne. I'm not calling him the God, because he's not. But I know he's down with that, maybe that nation of gods, nations of fathers, gods and earth. But nonetheless, 5%ers. Nonetheless, if he is, that's fine. but I'm not calling him God. But he's definitely a coon. That without question. You can argue me down with that if you want. Nonetheless, no, he's definitely a coon. If you haven't watched the video, you're going to hear it on tonight. And so I want to lay out some history. Let's have a little history lesson, shall we? Let's go back, into history and see, what about these other individuals who have made, statements, who have made quote unquote anti-Semitic statements? What has happened to them? Or does it depend on who are making the statements, or is it okay for us to make anti-black statements? Because we're notorious for doing that as black folk. I mean, we have no problem at all of making disparaging statements against our own people, and even to the point to where we want to wipe our own people off the face of this earth. And we have white people and Jewish people to thank for that, because we don't own distributing or record labels to do what we do. We have to have assistance, and so whoever owns something controls something. So now I would say this is going to be, how can I put it? You may find it somewhat cringe worthy, but I'm going to shoot straight as much as I can and as best as I can. And so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Should Ye be canceled? And if he should be canceled, then there's a lot of people that need to be canceled, because I'm looking at a lot of hypocrisy. I'm looking at a lot of things that have been said that people have gotten a pass when it comes to black folk. But when black people say it about white people, or particularly Jews, yeah, all hell breaks loose. Or the alphabet people, all hell breaks loose. The Bible says that unjust weights and measures are an abomination to the Lord. And if we're going to shoot straight, we need to shoot straight with everybody. Yes, absolutely, Lil T. There's an old video 9 years ago. Vlad interviewed Charlemagne, and in his interview, it's amazing. I mean, receipts, y'all. The internet never forgets. The internet never forgets. When you put it out there, it stays out there. And all someone has to do is just come grab it and bring it down. And lo and behold, we have a copy. I know I made my copy because see how some things disappear? Some things just, just disappear and you can't find it, like Hillary's emails. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that I grabbed my copy in case, it just it's no longer found and it's taken down, like the Drink Champs video or like the Shops video. But yes, there's an old video of Charlemagne saying the same thing Ye said, and then some. So I want to go back in time a little bit. So let's share my screen, because I want you to read along with me. All right. Let's have some. Yes, I got you, sis. I got you. I think we're gonna have. I think you're gonna have a la coming. I think we're gonna have one. Yes. So as you can see at the bottom, Justin Jaffe, February 9th of 2017. Do y'all see that? 5 years ago. Quote, the music industry's long history of dividing blacks and Jews. By unpacking the role that the music industry has played in fracturing this cultural divide, we can focus on what makes us the same. Y'all know who this person is, right? Y'all know who this person is? This is Lupe. Lupe Fiasco. Y'all don't remember him? Chicago rapper, I believe. You may remember this song.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar.
Yeah, that's him. He's known for that song. He's known for Kick Push. Remember that? You might. But nonetheless, he made statements regarding Jews. And the question is, we need to ask ourselves is what he said true? Or is it a lie? Well, let's find out. When the supremely talented and socially aware Lupe Fiasco releases his 6th album, LP, Drogas Light, tomorrow, which of course is in 2017, much attention will be paid to the subtext and themes of his rhymes by those looking for hints of anti-Semitic rhetoric. In mid-December, the rapper shared a single called N.O.R.E, which lit up the music community for this particularly eyebrow-raising line. Quote, artists getting robbed for their publishing by dirty Jewish execs who think that's alms from the covenant. As one might imagine, the Anti-Defamation League stepped in, with ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt releasing a statement. Quote, these lyrics reinforce the anti-Semitic myth of Jewish control of the music industry, a stereotype that has been exploited in recent years by well-known hate mongers. It is irresponsible for a recording artist to perpetuate the hateful anti-Semitic stereotype of the greedy Jew. Even if Lupe Fiasco has concerns about exploitation of his artistic output, it's deplorable to stigmatize an entire group in response. Remember that. Don't forget that. Fiasco has a well-earned reputation as a highly respected hip-hop artist. At a time when there are significant divisions across the country, we are disappointed that he has not chosen to use his platform and voice to promote a more inclusive message. End quote. After that, Greenblatt tweeted at Fiasco asking why he doesn't use his stage to promote inclusivity, and Fiasco fired back. His Twitter back in 2016. Sorry, Master, eyes do better next time. F out of here. In a subsequent flurry of tweets, Fiasco clarified the sentiment he was trying to communicate through the lyric by showing posts from past meetings with Jewish intellectuals like Howard Zinn and Noam Chomsky, while somewhat clarifying his distinction between those he felt defrauded by and the religion in its entirety. So you see the context, but the media doesn't give you that. Here's another tweet. Jonathan Greenblatt. Again, all this was in 2016. This is 6 years ago. The fiasco with Lupe Fiasco reminds us hashtag music industry has a big role to play in promoting positivity and inclusivity for all marginalized groups. Except for black people, huh? But I'll continue. Lupe responds and says, this is what happens at a Lupe Fiasco concert, Columbia University, NYC. F are you talking about? Photoshopped, right? And you see the flags there, Jewish flags, and so forth. He responds, Lupe does. He says, I made one with Noam on it too. He's from the tribe too, right? Oh, that's right. Y'all consider him an anti-Semite too, right? How about this guy, he says, Jay Greenblatt, ADO. Howard Zinn, you know, one of my mentors and intellectual resources. He just had anti-Semite though too, right? Lupe responds in a tweet, fix the problem. Don't condemn the victims, you effing punk. Shalom, salam, and good night. Days after the comments, Fiasco hopped back on Twitter to specifically name the Jews in the music business he felt had defrauded him, including former Warner Music CEO N.O.R.E. Cohen. Leo seems to be having a name for himself. What y'all think? And the company's current CEO, Craig Kallman. Quote, N.O.R.E. Cohen told me He may not honor the terms of an existing contract unless I sign a contract which changed the terms of the existing one, end quote. He wrote, quote, Craig Coleman once negotiated a deal in secret which said I agreed to give away 85% of my publishing rights to the songs Airplanes to its producers. Then he tweeted about how the Jewish lawyer he hired to fight Atlantic took him for 5% of everything, amounting to $100,000. And the strength of his speaking truth to power became a bit diluted by his logical gap. One thing that growing up in the melting pot of Miami, Florida has taught me is that some stereotypes become dangerous when the observer amplifies and applies his or her observation from some to all. The difference between a cultural observation and a stereotype lies in that amplification of a perceived pattern into an absolute truth. But as a proud Jew, this is the writer of this article, but as a proud Jew, I'm fascinated by the opportunity for dialogue that Fiasco has opened up. The historical reality is that Jewish label owners and producers have played a tremendous role in the shaping of the music industry, and much of that role has been on the backs of Black artists. Again, this is a Jewish writer admitting Jewish culpability and responsibility. But he continues on. Another reality is that groups like the Nation of Islam and their offshoot, the 5% Nation, have had a profound effect on shaping cultural consciousness in rap music. And much of that cultural consciousness has included anti-Semitic generalizations about all Jewish people based on the landlords, pawn shop owners, and record industry people that Black folks were interacting with. It's a complicated history worth unpacking because a core truth that reveals itself is one of shared history, of cultures that share more in common with each other than anyone cares to remember. Black and Jewish histories are both wrought with slavery, diaspora, and displacement. It's my hope that by investigating the divisive role that the music industry has played in further fracturing that divide, we can focus on what makes us the same. Historically, Jews have done the jobs that were thought to be unclean or dirty by the gentry. In the Middle Ages, the church thought that handling money was a sin against God, so we became the tax collectors. In a move of cultural reclamation, we ran with it. And when Jewish immigrants sought work in an America even more racially segregated than now, they quickly acclimated to acting as landlords and pawnbrokers in Harlem, some of only work open to them at the time. James Baldwin recounted these years growing up in Harlem and succinctly explains how the animus was fostered. This is James Baldwin quoting, "In Harlem, our landlords were Jews and we hated them. We hated them because they were terrible landlords and did not take care of the buildings. The grocery store owner was a Jew. The butcher was a Jew. And yes, we certainly paid more for bad cuts of meat than other New York citizens. And we very often carried insults home along with our meats. And the pawnbroker was a Jew. Perhaps we hated him most of all," end quote. But soon after he came to the realization that the Jews he was dealing with were not at the top of the food chain. Quoting again, "First white man I ever saw was a Jewish manager who arrived to collect the rent. And he collected the rent because he did not own the building. I never, in fact, saw any of the people who owned any of the buildings in which we scrubbed and suffered for so long until I was a grown man and famous. None of them were Jews. And I was not stupid. The grocer and the druggist were Jews, for example, and they were very, very nice to me and to us. I knew a murderer when I saw one, and the people who were trying to kill me were not Jews," end quote. Giving you a picture of the 1950s, Harlem. As Martin Luther King Jr. famously explained this relationship as the beginning of tensions between the Black and Jewish communities. Quote, "When we were working in Chicago, we had numerous rent strikes on the West Side. And it was unfortunately true that in most instances, the persons we had to conduct these strikes against were Jewish landlords. We were living in a slum apartment owned by a Jew and a number of others, and we had to have a rent strike. We were paying $94 for four rundown, shabby rooms, and we discovered what whites were paying only $78 a month. We were paying 20% tax. The Negro ends up paying a color tax. And this has happened in instances where Negroes actually confronted Jews as the landlord or the storekeeper. The irrational statements that have been made are the result of these confrontations. In reference to Baldwin's observations about his relationship to the butcher who charged him more for cuts of meat, it's entirely possible that there was simply genuine racism afoot. I can speak to the intensely Orthodox Hasids in Brooklyn, who still largely operate as slumlords, as being definitely and objectively racist. Their insular culture and dogmatic interpretation of scripture cause them to fear those they don't understand and justifies a holier than thou sense of exclusion that even I, as a secular Jew, feel heaped upon me in the distinct form of exclusion, disdain, and general otherness. But insofar as these tensions are based on proximity and stereotypes, the music industry played a big role in exacerbating them. Most of the Tin Pan Alley publishers and songwriters were Jewish, as they were denied work in other professions. A new, unestablished industry became the best path toward becoming successful players in American life. But early 20th century music is rife with Jewish appropriations of Black identity, and several scholars have suggested that Jews viewed themselves as the true interpreters of Black culture. Stereotypes and racism were definitely prevalent amongst Jews in the entertainment business too. Jewish women vaudevillains at the turn of the century popularized what is now a little discussed and misunderstood performance venue known as coon shouting, writes Pamela Levitt. Quote, trying to break into the entertainment business, Tin Pan Alley entrepreneurs' aesthetics were circumscribed in a vehemently anti-Black and xenophobic milieu. By the mid-1880s, they had formed a tight-knit Tin Pan Alley industry that came to dominate vaudeville and early Black musicals. Intended as comedy, coon song ranged from jocular and dismissive to cruel and sadistic. Coon song sheet music and illustrated covers proliferated defamatory images of Blacks and barely coded slanderous lyrics. For example, the N-word and associated inferences were dispatched in words like mammy, honey boy, pickaninny, chocolate, watermelon, possum, and the most prevalent, coon. E. Johnson on the piano. This exploitation and racism continued far into the jazz age, when Jewish label owners would often take advantage of Black artists with little music business acumen, paying them nothing for their work and churning out poorly recorded race recordings by paying the performer with a bottle of booze. And the Jewish underworld largely controlled the live jazz scene with the intention of segregating. Jewish gangsters frequented nightclubs. In fact, Jewish underworld figures owned many night spots and speakeasies. In New York, Dutch Schultz owned the Embassy Club. Y'all know who Dutch Schultz is? You ever seen the movie? What's the movie with Lawrence Fishburne? Someone fill me in. Y'all remember the movie with Lawrence Fishburne? The guy had played Dutch Schultz. But anyway, in New York, Dutch Schultz owned the Embassy Club. Charlie King Solomon owned Boston's Coconut Grove, writes Robert Rockaway. In Newark, Longy Zwillman owned the Blue Mirror and the Casablanca Club. Thank you, Hoodlum. That's it, Hoodlum. Longy Zwillman owned the Blue Mirror and Casablanca Club. Boo Boo Hoff owned the Piccadilly Cafe in Philadelphia. Detroit's Jewish Purple Gang owned Luigi's Cafe, one of the city's more opulent clubs. Jewish singers and comedians such as Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor, Fanny Brice, and Sophie Tucker played in the mob clubs, end quote. It continued to manifest through the popularity of blues music too. Consider Leonard and Philip Chess. Remember the movie Cadillac Records? That's who Leonard Chess is. Some people have called Leonard, it continued to manifest through the popularity of blues music too. Consider Leonard and Philip Chess, Jewish immigrants from Poland who founded the seminal label Chess Records, which featured artists like Bo Diddley, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, Etta James, and Chuck Berry. Quote, some people have called Leonard and Philip Chess visionaries who recognize the potential and the visceral blues of post-World War II Chicago, wrote bluesman Willie Dixon in his autobiography. Quote, a far greater number have branded the Chess brothers as exploiters who systematically took advantage of the artist who created the music. This history continues when we hear about George Clinton being defrauded of the publishing rights to his most classic songs, or when Ice Cube moaned about how MC Ren, quote, let a Jew break up my crew, end quote, in reference to NWA's debatably criminal manager, the late Jerry Heller. You remember the song No Vaseline? You know where that quote came from. Death certificate. So I really feel, this is the writer continuing, so I really feel empathetic toward the narrative that has been presented to Black America by my people. And I can't help but feel that my people bear a brunt of responsibility for nurturing much of the conspiratory-based anti-Semitism that has flourished in Black communities. Which isn't to say it's okay when former public enemy professor Griff cites Henry Ford's The Intentional Jew, or a mural of Malcolm X is surrounded by stars of David, dollar signs, skulls, and crossbones alongside the phrase African blood at San Francisco State. These incidents continued through the 90s until now, but the foundation for them was largely raised through intimate, disenfranchising working relationships between the two communities. Of those relationships, the Jews in the music industry seem to be complicit in most of the bamboozling. There is not one Jew, despite how many, or how personal rather, and historically consistent a narrative may seem to some Black Americans. In the case of Black-Jewish relations, the ambiguity of Jews, whiteness also played out in reverse, writes Sherilyn Greenberg in Troubling the Waters, Black-Jewish Relations in the American Century. Quote, if Jews were not entirely white, they nonetheless often stood in for whites in Black people's minds and absorbed the full force of their racial resentment, promoted by both propinquity and the ubiquity of anti-Semitism. Just as society must have a scapegoat, James Baldwin observed, so hatred must have a symbol. Georgia has the Negro and Harlem has the Jew. Unpacking race from ethnicity or religion is a challenge, especially when the players themselves were none too clear about the distinction, end quote. Dr. Cornel West echoes similar sentiment from his often cited writings on the relationship. Quote, Black anti-Semitism is a form of underdog resentment and envy directed at another underdog who has made it in American society. The remarkable upward mobility of American Jews, rooted chiefly in a history and culture that places a premium on higher education and self-organization, easily lends itself to myths of Jewish unity and homogeneity that have gained currency among other groups, especially among relatively unorganized groups like Black Americans. The high visibility of Jews in the upper reaches of the academy, journalism, the entertainment industry, and the professions, though less so percentage-wise in corporate America and national political office, is viewed less as a result of hard work and success fairly won, and more as a matter of favoritism and nepotism among Jews. Ironically, calls for Black solidarity and achievement are often modeled on myths of Jewish unity as both groups respond to American xenophobia and racism. But in times such as these, some Blacks view Jews as obstacles rather than allies in the struggle for racial justice. Dr. West alludes to the patterns of persistent mistrust and disconnect between Black American culture and the people who have played a role in his universal media dissemination. He leaves out the conspiratory, they control the media, because he acknowledges how they function with the same reductive oversimplification that Jews control all the money claims make, negating the history of Jewish assimilation into societies and economies that have long kept us too on the fringes of success. You ought to listen to Lupe Fiasco. However, beyond his dismissive words about the Jews to its core message, we Jews need to isolate ourselves from the typecasting and stereotypes that have come to negatively define us and not come at people with a lecture about inclusivity or anti-Semitism from the start, even if that's what it feels like we're responding to. We can isolate ourselves from acknowledging the historical foundations that the stereotypes were born from and seeking to curb any present signs of such perceived exploitation that persists to this day. Fiasco asks for some accountability from Jewish figures in the music industry to acknowledge this painful and ugly history we've been complicit in perpetuating, and wants to see a system reform itself from what he considers to be shiesty business as usual. Isn't it the same thing that Kanye was talking about? He wants to hold these people who are in control responsible. And through the ADL's Greenblatt makes a point in noting that Lupe's means of speaking this truth drudge up ugly, long-held stereotypes about Jews by the Black community that should not render his stake in the discussion invalid. We can acknowledge that the behavior of certain Jews is not the behavior of all Jews, best by looking at the ultra-Orthodox neocon contingent in Washington, a world away from the progressive socialist foundations of a Jew like Bernie Sanders. Yet when Sanders held a town hall-like symposium at Harlem's Apollo Theater during primaries, a man's question about the Jewish conspiracy threatened to lump him in with the old stereotypes. As Greenberg writes, quote, "There's no single Black community, no single Jewish community. Both groups have polarizing internal differences based on class, religion, gender, politics, generation, occupation, and a host of other less tangible factors. The resulting internecine disputes fractured unity and community sentiment, often collied with organizational priorities. There have also been many venues in which African Americans and Jewish Americans have interacted, and there are multiple Black-Jewish relations. There's a relationship between the civil rights organizations in both communities that fought for many of the same goals, sometimes separately and sometimes in collaboration. There's also the relationship between Black and Jewish activists within the same organizations, from the Communist Party to the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. There's a relationship between Blacks and Jews in the music and movie industries, in labor unions, and in the garment trades. There's a relationship between members of the two communities and their everyday interactions, affected as they necessarily were by the economic and power inequities that race and class differences produced, and by recurring allegations of Black anti-Semitism and Jewish racism," end quote. What can I do to spread this message while also acknowledging the patterns of division that my cultural ancestors have engaged in? And am I accountable for any of their nefarious practices? We can look at the history, all of it, from moments of division and exploitation to moments of unity and solidarity during the civil rights struggle that still persists to this day, and look deep within to parse out what, if anything, we can be culturally accountable for. But most importantly, we can listen to the stories lived by those who are different from us. I just wanted to read that in its entirety because there are things that this writer said that he had to admit that his people took advantage of Black people. And have you heard of the term Black exploitation? Y'all remember those movies? Foxy Brown, those Black exploitation flicks. Where do you think that came from? Now, again, Justin Jaffe is a Jew, and this is in 2017, and he is writing and admitting that there are things that his people did that affected Black people. Now, what do you call him? What do you say about him? Is he an anti-Semite? Just asking. Let's look at some more history. Y'all all right? I hope so. Could we got a few more things to cover, y'all. Got a few more things to cover. Here's another article. Y'all know who this guy is, right? Any of my old school or hip hop heads know who this person is? You ever heard of the group Ghetto Boys? Mind's playing tricks on me, all that. Anybody? Anybody? Yeah, I agree, Jewel. I definitely agree. It's definitely black exploitation. Absolutely. Yep. Face mob. Yes. Okay, you are good. You say you Gucci. All right, sis. Cool. Okay. Yes. All right. So y'all remember. Um. Yeah. This is one of the third artists who of the Ghetto Boys back in the day. So, in case y'all didn't remember him, just wanted to refresh your memory on one of the tracks he did back in the day.
I can never see a man cry till I seen a man die. I can never see a man cry till I seen a man die.
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. He says hip hop is being controlled and manipulated by white Jewish record labels. This is 2013, y'all. April 29th, 2013. Don't have to make any of this stuff up. Hip hop living legend Scarface gave a thought provoking interview to Hard Knock TV when critiquing today's hip hop industry. Quote, when asked which artist he likes currently, Scarface said he loves Kendrick Lamar. The Houston native then sighed, scratched his head, and said, what else you want me to say? Scarface said he feels like black culture is losing hip hop. Scarface said there is a conspiracy against the blacks. He then pinned the blame on white and Jewish record label owners. Quote, I feel like the people that's in control of what hip hop does is so effing white and so effing Jewish until they don't give a F about what the culture and craft really is about, he said. Let's play a sample of this interview.
I feel like we losing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people that are in control of what hip hop does is so white and so Jewish until they don't give a about what the culture and the craft and what it really is about. I don't know if them is trying to really let me say this. I want this to be as offensive as I can.
Y'all said there's an echo. I had it on mute, so I'm not really sure why it's doing that. Let me try this then. Hold on. I'm not sure why it's muting. So let me try it again. Thought I had this thing set up right. So let me. I'll do it this way. Give me a minute. I'll just play the actual one instead of doing it on the. All right, let me put it over here. So let's try it. Let's try this one here.
I feel like we're losing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like.
All right, so let me go ahead and run it back. Now let me know if you all hear an echo once I play it. Let's see. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on mute, and then let me know if y'all can hear it clear.
I feel like we losing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people that are in control of what hip hop does is so white and so Jewish until they don't give a about what the culture and the craft and what it really is about. I don't know if them is trying to really let me say this. I want this to be as offensive
I'm sorry. So let's time travel a little bit. What year was this? This was in 2013. 2013, right? April 29th of 2013. So let's see what he said. Sorry about that, y'all. Y'all should be able to hear me now, right? Are we good? Are we good now? Put up a one if we can hear each other. If y'all can hear me, rather. Sorry. Can you hear me now? I think about okay, good. All right, cool. So notice April 29th of 2013 when he made this statement. Is Face, should we cancel Face? Should we cancel, should Scarface be canceled for stating something that he has observed as true? That's the question. Is his statements, or are his statements anti-Semitic? Or is he stating a fact based on history? That is the question. That's the question. Let's look at another one. The white and Jewish men that run the major record companies. Now, this one will be somewhat lengthy because you're going to see names. You're going to see names in this report. Yeah, I did, bro. And I have it. I have it in the queue. I have it in the queue. And in fact, I'm going to set that up shortly as well. So, May 1st, 2014, Motown Records was black owned, and they never put out any songs that was harmful or degrading to blacks. The black people that own Motown Records, they loved and cared about blacks. And they never did anything to harm blacks. Motown was never used as a vehicle to exploit and show negative images of black people. And Motown created more superstars than any other record company, even to this very day. Everything was clean on Motown. You can find one song on Motown Records that was disrespectful or degrading to black people. This is talking about when Motown first started, okay? But for the past 30 years, white and Jewish-run record companies have put out songs that have trashed and degraded black people in every kind of way. So let's take a look. The writer says, these are the white and Jewish men that run the major record companies. Now, it cannot be anti-Semitic if you have receipts. It cannot be anti-Semitic if you have the facts. Okay? So let's look. These are the men that allow people to make songs about killing blacks. Excuse me. These are the men that allow people to make songs calling black people niggers. These men use their record companies to sell and promote songs that degrade blacks. They would never allow people to make derogatory songs about Jews or any other group, but they think that it's okay for people to make derogatory songs about blacks. They would never allow anybody to make songs calling Jews kikes. All the major record companies are headed by whites and Jews. Every person that is making songs that is degrading black people are signed to these guys' record companies. They know that these songs are harmful to blacks, and they still promote it. All of the major record companies trade on the stock market. A person can't just record and release any song they want to. The executives and the people that's high up that run the record companies, they bring in the artist and they listen to the whole record. And then they say yes or no on whether to release that record to the public. They know that those songs are degrading and harmful to the black community, but they don't care. Every record company in America could easily say, no, we refuse to release songs like this. We don't want our name being a part of anything like this that's harmful to blacks, but they don't do it. These are the people that run those major record companies. Lucian Grange is a Jewish man, and he is the president and CEO of Universal Music Group, which is one of the largest major record companies out. They push songs that promote black on black violence. These are owners of Universal Music Group. They have made billions of dollars off the degradation of black people in songs. Billionaire Vincent Ballard is the majority owner of Universal Music Group. Bill Aikman is Jewish, and he also is one of the owners of Universal Music Group. He also a billionaire. He's also a billionaire. Sony Music is another major record label that has put out a lot of negative songs about blacks. Rob Stringer, below, is Jewish, and he's the chairman and CEO of Sony Music and Columbia Records. Doug Morris is Jewish, and he was the former president and CEO of Sony. Kevin Keller is Jewish, and he's the chief operating officer at Sony. Warner Music Group has played a major role in the degradation of black people in songs. Stephen F. Cooper is the president and CEO of Warner Music Group. Len Blavatnik is Jewish, and he's the owner of Warner Music Group. He's a billionaire with a net worth of $29 billion. Warner Music Group doesn't have any songs that degrade Jewish people. Zach Horowitz is Jewish, and he's the chairman and CEO of Universal Music Publishing Group. John Janik is the president and chief operating officer of Interscope Geffen A&M Records. Joey Manda is Italian, and he used to be the president of Def Jam Records. A lot of music that was destructive to blacks came out under his watch. He's now the president of urban music at Interscope Records. Barry Weiss, not Barry White. Barry Weiss is Jewish. He was the CEO of Island Def Jam Records until recently when he resigned. Now this is in 2014 is when this picture was taken. Steve Bartels then became the president and chief operating officer at Def Jam. Paul Rosenberg is Jewish, and he is now the current president of Def Jam Records. Rick Rubin, we all know Rick. Rick Rubin is Jewish, and he's the founder of Def Jam. Jimmy Iovine is Jewish, and he is one of the co-founders of Interscope Records. There's been debate whether or not he's Jewish, but we can say definitely he's white. Ed Cockle is the president of Virgin EMI Records. Peter Edge is the president of RCA Records. Atlantic Records put out songs that's harmful and degrading to black people, but they don't have any songs that is harmful and disrespectful to Jewish people. Julie Greenwald is Jewish, and she's the CEO and chairwoman for Atlantic Records. Leor Cohen is a Jewish guy. He's known for managing a lot of rappers. He then went on to become the president of Def Jam Records, and from there he became the CEO of Warner Music Group. This is Leor and Lynn at the bottom. Mottola is Jewish, and he was the president of Columbia Records for 14 years. Michael Jackson said that he was a very evil person. And I believe Tommy Mottola was married to who was he married to? Who was he? What is her name? Nick Cannon. What is her name? My brain is gone. Mariah Carey. That's it. Mariah Carey. Edgar Bronfman Jr. is Jewish, and he owned Warner Music Group from 2004 to 2011. David Geffen is a Jewish man, and he started Geffen Records. His record company has put out a lot of negative songs about blacks, and it has made him billions of dollars. Summer Redstone is the Jewish man that owns Viacom, which owns BET, MTV, and he owns 80% of CBS. He makes his profit by peddling poison to the American people. Again, you can't be anti-Semitic if it's fact. Jerry Heller was a Jewish record executive, and he's the main person that helped to create gangster rap, which exploited the beefs that black gangs were having in the community. Heller financed and promoted songs where blacks rapped about their street beefs. Gangster rap promoted black on black violence, and those type of songs led to a lot of violence in the black community. Meanwhile, he made money off of the destruction that those songs created. The Jewish Defamation League also backed Heller. Let's say that again. The Jewish Defense League, not defamation, the Jewish Defense League also backed Heller. Let me do something real quick. David Crane, I see your question. I'll get to your question once I finish with my presentation. Is that all right? Just stick around. Thank you. Patience is a spiritual gift, my brother. Practice it. See Jerry Heller with easy. Peter Benedict is Jewish, and he is one of the co-founders of the United Talent Agency, which is one of the largest entertainment talent agencies in the world. Ariel Zev Ari Emanuel is Jewish. You know who he is, right? Ariel Zev Ari Emanuel is Jewish, and he's the CEO of the Williams Morris Agency, which is one of the largest entertainment talent agencies in America. He's the brother of Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. At the time, this is who was the mayor. Michael Ovitz is Jewish, and he is one of the co-founders of the Creative Artists Agency, which is one of the largest entertainment agencies in America. David Mays and Sarah Schechter are two Jewish guys, and they started Source Magazine, which is a hip-hop magazine. I believe William Morris is the largest one, bro. I believe so. These are the magazines. This is what is being pushed in our communities. David Mays also started and owns Hip Hop Weekly magazine, which is another popular hip hop magazine. Stanley R. Harris is the white man that owns XXL magazine and King, which are two urban hip hop magazines. Harris is on the left, Stanley is on the right. Your discretion is advised. If you're black, I just felt that you needed to see the people that's behind your destruction. Their companies put out songs that promote black on black violence, and they profit from it. The Jewish community hasn't been harmed at all by the negative music that these guys put out, but the black community has been harmed very badly by it. In the drug world, these guys will be considered your drug suppliers that send the drugs into poor black neighborhoods. Jewish people make up 3% of the U.S. population, and you don't find it strange that they are all in all of these top positions. Damon Dash is speaking out against Jewish record executive Lear Cohen for exploiting black people through negative music. I can't play the clip because you already know that Vlad will try to have it stricken down. But you can go there and check it out yourself. Rapper Chief Keef said that he's going to raise the murder rate in Chicago. His songs are filled with shootings and killings. There's Rick Rubin with one of the clips, not the gun, talking about the rapper. I think Malice is in the back, and this is Pusha T in the front. Here's with Jay-Z. Doug Morris, the president of Sony, with Ronald Slim Williams from Cash Money Records. They have put out a lot of songs that are destructive to black people. Joy Monda, who used to be the president of Def Jam. Todd Moskowitz. Todd Moskowitz is Jewish, and he was the co-president of Warner Brothers Records. Today, he manages a lot of well-known black rappers. Providing receipts. Just providing receipts. Rick Ross. Look at this. You see this? Not sure what happened, but my screen went out. Not sure what happened, but let's continue. Let's keep the party going. Let's keep the party going. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know what this is about. Y'all know what this is about, right? Let's keep it going. Let me share my screen again. All right. Can everybody see me? Are we good? All right. Lear Cohen at the bottom is the Jewish guy that put the rappers out to push that poison. And he and his Jewish culture get rich off of at the expense of black people. Now, y'all know Leo Cohen in an interview with the Breakfast Club, because remember I mentioned I played that video last week, I believe. And Leo Cohen's excuse was he got mouths to feed. He got people to feed. That was his excuse for pushing the pushing the stuff that he's been pushing out. Thank you, Kwam. Allegedly, in my opinion, allegedly. Remember, all of this is fair use, though. But hey, y'all know how it goes. Y'all know how it goes. But yeah, as this guy would say,
this is just my opinion, allegedly, whatever. This is just my opinion, allegedly, whatever.
Yeah. Just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Just my opinion. Allegedly, based on the facts. Allegedly. See N.O.R.E. Let's see who those are, right? T.I. Rick Ross. I know, huh? Young Thug. Chance the Rapper. Look at the hand sign. I'm not one to try to make any issues about the hand sign, but look at N.O.R.E.'s hand sign. Look at the hand signs. Nicki Minaj is with Universal Music Group. They distribute her records. Listen to the words of this song. This is the kind of stuff the Universal Music Group releases to the public. It's out of her song. Here's a video by Gunplay, the rapper Gunplay, titled Hot Nigga. Those communities and Jews have exploited and helped to destroy many of our black communities for their own greed and personal gain. Yeah. So that's so far. I'm almost done. I'm halfway done. Halfway there, y'all. Halfway there. Bear with me. Bear with me. So remember, I said if Kanye is if Kanye is anti-Semite, and if Kanye is a racist, all of a sudden, then it's the same true for Face. Is the same true for Lupe? Is it? I mean, there's just questions that I'm asking. And they're not the only ones who have made these statements. They're not the only ones who have made these statements based on facts, based on their experience in the industry. But I got to play Charlemagne the Fraud, Charlemagne the Coon. Because this guy, again, man, look, the internet knows no mercy, especially to those who are frauds. I got to play this one for y'all and make sure I got this one on mute so you can hear this one without any echoes and any distortion. So let me run it back. And I titled this Charlemagne the Coon. Charlemagne the Coon. And sis, Care for the Soul, what I did was I took the video image out, put up my own infamous speaker, and they're just gonna let the sound play. We should be good with this. We should be good with this. Yeah, I know, huh? This, yeah, he's definitely a moron of the highest order. Of the highest order. But I made sure that I took out you know whose voice, and we're just gonna let Mr. Main talk. So let me put this on mute and let's let the sound play. Put up a 1 if y'all can hear it, okay?
I'll be honest with you, I don't even feel comfortable talking about this. I'm sweating right now. There's certain things I don't like to talk about, and I love Jewish people, but they're powerful. I don't want them to misconstrue anything I'm saying or take anything I'm saying the wrong way. So I would much rather not even have this conversation. I have a lot of great Jewish people in my corner. I have a Jewish conglomerate. You know why there's not a lot of Jewish rappers? Because there's Jewish owners and Jewish CEOs. They run these labels. They're the bosses. That's why I'm uncomfortable. They run the business, period, from Hollywood to the music industry, everything. And I mean, it's a very powerful mafia, as they should be. Whenever you pick out a whole race and say this race is effed up, or this race is foul, or this race is this, and this race is that, you deserve whatever you get. See, the problem with black people, we don't have no power. No matter what we do, we can all click up. We don't have no organization that holds any weight. NAACP don't hold no weight. We don't have no organization that holds no weight. You can't speak bad about a Jewish person because they have organizations and they're a close-knit group of people in power who will bring you down. Same thing with gays. You can't say nothing bad about gays because they move as a unit. Black people don't have that.
Well, memories like the corner of my mind. Memories, huh? How soon we forget. How soon we forget. I mean, listen, y'all. If this dude, he listen, the guy said that the Jews are the mafia. That's what he said. This man called the Jews the mafia. Now, I don't know about y'all, but you know, when I heard this, this was my response.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you this: if I were Ye and I heard this, I'd be saying this to this.
You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing.
At all. At all. And if he tried to explain and try to justify it, I'd be like this. The whole time. The whole time. The whole time. Yeah, he is Charlemagne the fraud. Charlemagne the coon. I mean, he's all of that. He's all that. This dude, yo, hey man, I was like, really? I mean, listen, I'm like, okay, I was like, okay, dude, nigga. That's what I'm like. Like, really, dude? Really? I can't wait to see, because I know he should have this now coming back around to him. I can't wait to see how he's going to spin this on the Breakfast Club come Monday. I mean, what he's going to say. If anything, if I were a betting man, ladies and gentlemen, if I were a betting man, there's going to be some apologizing on Charlemagne's part. Oh, he's going to be dancing for Massa, asking for Massa not to beat him. He's definitely going to do that. He's definitely going to do that. He's going to try his best to twist this thing. But that was you, homeboy. Listen, that was nobody doctored that. Nobody tried to set you up. That was you, Charlemagne.
That's you on tape.
You can't run from that one, homeboy. Everybody and their mama saw that. Yeah, he needs to be getting donkey of the day. He sure should. He sure should. Donnie, you say you call him Charlotte. That's it, huh? Yeah, he sure acting like a Charlotte. Man, please. But let me continue. I got a little bit more to go, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit more. I know, sis, huh? The speaker, the infamous speaker. Yeah, that's gonna be for anybody that tried to front and try to lie and got receipts on them. All right. Now, remember we just went through that whole list of all of these Jews and white people who either own or have control or have their finger on the switch on whether or not people can have their music published or not, allegedly, right? It's interesting because, again, remember the pushback from people who will say we can't put all people in this category. So let's go back to our day, okay? When we talk about murder in this country, when we talk about murder in this country, whether it be on the streets, in our hoods, or in the wombs of our black women, do we say this? Listen, do we say this? Do we say not all? We say we are killing our own people. That's what we say. We say black people are killing themselves. We say this all the time. Where the Jewish people be at? They don't correct us and say, brother, Mr. Woods or sir, ma'am, all of y'all are not doing this. We know all of us aren't doing it, but as a group, our people, which make up 13% of the population, 7% of our women, of the 13% of the black population, murder almost 40%. I think 37 to 38% of our babies. Black innocent image bearers are murdered. 20 plus million since 1973 and counting. We don't say, as black people, well, not all of us, we know all of us aren't doing that. Can I give you a biblical example? Thank you. Let's go to the scriptures for a second. Let's see if a collective group is mentioned under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. Let's see if people have made statements regarding an entire people group and characterized them about attitudes, behaviors. Let's see. Let's see if the Word of God can give us an example. All right? Y'all don't mind, do we? Do y'all mind if I show y'all some scripture? Okay. Titus chapter 1. Titus chapter 1. Paul gives Titus some rules on how we are to choose, select, ordain elders. And he gives it in verses 5 through 9. And he gives the reason why. Verse 10. He says, for there are many rebellious men, empty talkers and deceivers, especially those of the circumcision, who must be silenced. Why? Because they're upsetting whole families, teaching things they should not teach for the sake of sordid gain. One of themselves, a prophet of their own, said, quote, Cretans are liars, are always liars, evil beasts, lazy gluttons. Wait a minute. Paul cites Epimenides, because that's who the poet or the writer was. He says, a prophet of your own said, Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, lazy gluttons. Paul is writing to Titus at Crete, tells Titus, when you get to Crete, you need to ordain elders in every city. He says, and this is what you are to do to those who are teaching aberrant, false, heretical doctrines. You need to silence them. You need to mute them. You need to muzzle them. The picture is to muzzle a rabid animal or dog. He says in verse 13, Paul makes this generalization of a people group and said, Cretans are always liars. He's quoting another writer. Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, lazy gluttons. Verse 13. This testimony is true. Thank you, Brother Proverbs, for the super chat. Thank you, Son of John, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Notice, he says, this testimony is true. Paul didn't say, well, I can't say that because, not all Cretans are liars, evil beasts, and lazy gluttons. He's making a generalization. He's making a generalization. Under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, he's talking about a people group. That's my point. So, why is it okay for us? Why is it okay for us to make generalizations about ourselves or about other people, except for the alphabet community and the Jewish community? White people may get it as well too. White people can probably get some smoke too nowadays. But the alphabet people and the Jewish people, oh no, they're hands off. They're the protected class. Now even Asians have more protections in this country than black people. But it's open season on black folk when in our music and entertainment and the arts. Open season. And listen, and not just through Jewish hands, you have sellouts in our own communities, in our own group. Because, ladies and gentlemen, nobody's making T.I. and Young Thug and all these people. They're not putting guns to these people's head and making them sign these contracts. So they're responsible just as those who are in these record companies, these executives, these CEOs. They're just as culpable and just as responsible as those who are in the booth spitting this garbage. Nobody gets a pass. But to sit here and act as though these major labels are not run by Jews and white folk, and that anybody that say otherwise or pushes back and says, no, that's true, they do. You're going to silence them. You didn't silence Face. You didn't silence him. And Face probably don't even care. So the question we need to ask ourselves is this. What's the difference? If you're going to cancel Ye, what about Charlemagne? He said it 9 years ago on Vlad. He called them the mafia. That's what he called them. Charlemagne did. Why isn't he canceled? Why isn't he silenced? Why isn't his money touched? Because he's on that plantation. That's why. See, these people are the sellouts. These are the ones that Malcolm X calls the house niggas. They're the house niggas. They're the ones that will sell you out for a little bit of nothing to make themselves a profit. Yeah. And we wonder. And we wonder why our communities are the way that they are. We need to look within. We need to look within. We need to look within our churches. First of all, before you go to the church, we need to look within our homes and how we raise our children and what standard that we have as a family. We need to look in our churches before we even go out into the communities. Because churches are made of families. So it starts in the home. Now, all we have to do is do our history. All we have to do is ask ourselves, were we always like this? Absolutely not. There was a time when we as a people had respect for each other. How is it that our ancestors who went through hell on earth and who made it with little to nothing, whose families were intact, who had respect and dignity for themselves, were able to thrive. But you and I, with our smartphones and everything else that we have, we're complaining about how we're being held back, and most of the stuff that is happening to us are self-induced. So we have self-inducement, and then we have sellouts pushing this. It starts in the home, ladies and gentlemen. That's where it starts. It starts in the home, and it begins in the church house as well, because the Bible says judgment must begin in the church of God. It must begin in the house of God. The question we need to ask ourselves is, why are we tolerating this? Because, see, an abuser will continue to do what they do when you allow them to do what they do. I would agree with Charlemagne 100%. You're not going to do that with Jews. You're not going to do that with Chinese people. You're not going to do that with any other ethnic group, but with black folk. It's something about black people that there must be this sense of passivity that is swept through our communities, because it wasn't like that before. It wasn't like that before. But when you have women running the home and men that won't lead, these are the results. Those pictures that you saw, most of these artists and most of these people, they wouldn't let their children be caught up in this stuff. You think T.I.? You think T.I. lives in the hood? I mean, come on. You think T.I. lives in the hood? You think these people that talk about shooting and killing and drugging and smoking each other out, they don't live in the hood. They live outside the hood, far away from Negros. But destruction sells. And unfortunately, it's to our demise and to our destruction. I'm going to get to these comments in a second. I'm not sure if a provisionist Christian is still in the chat. If he is, he and I can cam up. If he is, he and I can cam up. Just stay tuned if you're still in the house. I got time today. Let me share my screen again. Oh, he's been canceled? He was hidden? Okay. I'll let y'all handle it then. But if you know how to behave himself, he can come back and get some. I don't know who was provisionist Christian, but if he's still in the building, tell him to come on in. This is XXL. XXL magazine, we know this is ran by Jews. We're at a look through the list, allegedly. 50 violent rap lyrics that will make you cringe. This is last year. This is last year. 50 violent rap lyrics that will make you cringe. This is October 21st, 2021. Toughness has always been an admirable trait in the world of hip hop for quite some time. The game has always placed a premium on street cred, which is a testament to one's reputation throughout the areas they frequent and beyond. Street cred can be attained through various means, but striking fear in others is one of the more prevalent and effective ways to go about being respected in the streets, as well as in the realm of hip hop. Going back as early as pioneers like Melly Mel, who was one of the first street certified MCs in rap, hip hop had its fair share of imposing figures during the 1980s, including Just Ice, Eric B., Big Daddy Kane, and other legendary rap luminaries. But there were more than a few fearsome figures in rap. Much of the music made prior to 1988, when acts like N.W.A. began to popularize gangster rap, was lighthearted jams for the party or based around cautionary tales and social commentary. But by the time hip hop crept into the 1990s, violent overtones were the norm in rap songs, drawing the ire of political pundits and activists who were appalled by the content featured in the culture's songs. Remember C. Dolores Tucker? You remember her? Rock did a song about her, or did a verse about her. She said, "C. Dolores Tucker, you an MFer." Remember that? But the article continues. That decade would see hip hop continuously come under fire due to controversial lyrics. The critics perceived the lines as promoting violent acts and criminality under the guise of, quote, keeping it real, end quote. As time passes and changes are made, mainstream America and the hip hop community have since inched closer to being on common ground. Fans and the greater public have become somewhat desensitized from the harsh realities laid on wax, and now categorize it as closer to entertainment than a testimonial. Besides, who doesn't like a little bit of hardcore rap from time to time? With that in mind, XXL highlights 50 of the most violent lyrics we've come across throughout the years. Eminem, Future, Cameron, Lil Durk are just some of the rappers with lines that will make you cringe. Parental advisory is highly suggested. Let's start with this one. Him by Eminem. You and your husband have a fight. One of you tries to grab a knife, and during the struggle, he accidentally gets his Adam's apple sliced. No. And while he's going in on his son just woke up, and he walks in and panics, and he gets his throat cut. So now they both dead, and you slash your own throat. So now it's double homicide and suicide with no note. I can go through all 50, but go through some of them. It's a representative list. X is coming. Man, if we was up north, niggas would have been effed you. But we in the streets, niggas should have been stuck you. Plucked you in the chicken with your head cut off. They'll find you with your back open and your legs cut off. And as for your man, don't you ever in your MFing life know when I got a gun come at me with a knife, all right? And forgetting you ever saw me is the best thing to do. Don't give a F about your family. They'll be resting with you. Patiently waiting, 50 Cent and Eminem, straight out of Compton. Going off on MF like that with a gat that's pointed at your blank. So give it up smooth. Ain't no telling when I'm down for a jack move. Here's a murder rap to keep y'all dancing with a crime record like Charles Manson. AK-47 is a tool. Don't make me act like an MF and fool. Ex-girlfriend, Isham. Danger Zone, Big L. L's the nigga that crime flows. I'm hitting fine models and stabbing punks with the broken wine bottles. I beat chumps to their head spits, then break them like breadsticks. I sex chicks, and I even F a dead itch. So this dude is into necrophilia. Necrophilia and necromancy, huh? Check ones, part 2. The mob comes equipped for warfare. Beware of my crime family who's got no shots for the share. For all of those who want to profile and pose, rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone. You're all alone in these streets, cousin. Every man for themselves in this land, we be gunning. Shoot 'em up, Nas. 144, 245, 3 loaded clips, 4 niggas roll, 1 nigga drives. 500 bands, 6 reasons why this kid should die. We shooting every MFer outside, pulled on his block, jumped out the car, guns in our hand. At the same time, everybody ran. There that nigga go, hiding in the crowd. Let that trigger blow. 7 shots, now he lying on the ground. FU by Jadakiss, Can't See Me. Pac, give me my money in stacks. I lace my itches with dime figures. Real niggas, fingers on nickel-plated 9 triggers. Must see my enemies defeated. I catch them while they coked up and weeded. Open fire, now them niggas bleeding. Jesse James, Scarface. Snuck up behind him, had his hands in his pocket, took my pistol out, unlocked it, pulled the hammer back and cocked it, and left his ish all on the carpet. I seen him murder. I pointed at my target. I'm making my way up out the building. I got the nigga that came out to notify his children. That the old man then fell out of the game because I came through this MF and killed his A just like Jesse James. I'm this most wanted. Warning by Notorious B.I.G. That's my cheddar. Feel my Beretta. Buck, when I hit you, you MF is better, duck. I bring pain, blood stains on what remains of his jacket. He had a gun. He should have packed it, cocked it, extra clips in my pocket so I can reload and explode on you, blank hole. I F around and get hardcore. C4 to your door. No beef, no more, nigga. Another execution above the law. I remember this one back in the day when I was in the Navy. At this second, her boy walked in. I said, man, I do have to act crazy again. Then I grabbed my weapon. It's time to get it ill. You can say it's cool. You can straight get peeled. With buckshots, I mean, all over the place. In your back, your side, in your stomach, in your face. Because I don't really care what your girlfriend says. If you keep talking ish, you get a bullet in your head. Code 187. Easy E, boys in the hood. Boys in the hood, it's always hard. Keep talking that trash. We pull your card. You know, nothing in life is to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said what. We know it. Donald B's in the place to give me the pace. He said my man JD is on free base. That boy JD was a friend of mine till I caught him in my car trying to steal an Alpine. Chasing him up the streets to call a truce. The silly cluck head pull out deuce. Little did he know I had a loaded 12 gauge, one sucker dead, LA Times front page. About it. Niggas want to act by Mace. For my legion, fill up the season and start squeezing. Niggas talking ish, be behind the cars weaving. There's no breathing. Ain't nobody in here leaving. You kill my man, I kill your itch. Now we even. I'm from a cold world where it's bleeding 20 degrees in. Fahrenheit niggas get sniped for no reason. Do a lot of work, got plenty funds and many guns. Many sons, niggas do nothing, do anything to anyone. Serial killer. Mystical, here I go. Rhyme slaying, straight suckers I'm slaying. Hoes I'm laying, niggas can't barely stand. I got them laying and praying, delaying they can. Ask them hoes, I ain't playing with them. Want to get beef, I have to turn my cheek. Cock back like a mad axe to knock out them effing teeth. I'm a mean gene machine, the execution to be appeased with the guillotine. Chief Keef from Chicago. Talking out his neck, pistol to his throat. Blow his MFer, he's gone choke. On the ground, on the floor. Someone pick him up, take him to the morgue. I'm riding through New York, finna go and shoot. New Jersey trying to take my chain. I ain't going. We gonna come and blow New Jersey up. For the Dirk, 100 rounds. Just bought a chopper, gave it to the Numbane. Slipping on up in traffic. That's 1 to 9. I catch him up on the traffic. I'm gonna gun him down. Pose up on a normal on the summertime. My block. You an op. You get shot. That drum beating like chop. So get back or get that. Now run up on me and get whacked. In other words, get stretched. And if it's Dirk is here, he's gonna catch. Going through the list. Hill Street Blues, Coogee Rap, DJ Polo, Hopped out the back seat, they gave me a revolver. Blast, you distract him while I go and whack him. Entered through the back side of the bar and then attacked him. He's screaming for his life, reaching for his wife. Shot him in the back of the head and shanked him with a knife. And that goes for anybody who's got to pay their dues. You lose because I got the Ill Street Blues. Stranded on death row. Chronic. I'm stacking and macking and packing a 10. So when you're slipping, I slip the clip in. But ain't no set tripping because it's death row rolling like the mafia. Thinking whooping some blank, but what the F stopping you? Ain't nothing for the buster. I stranded on death row for pumping slugs and MFers. Now you know you're outdone. Feel the shotgun, corrupt inmate cell block 1. Dre's let me ride. Checking my rear view because niggas, they know they do jack moves, black foods, because I smack food. They try to set me up for a 211, F around and get caught up in a 187, but I don't represent no gang bang. Some niggas act lynching, but I just watch him hang. Just notice most of the stuff is about killing folk, right? Never scared, bone crusher, Killer Mike and T.I. Let a chopper go plow to your melon. Now the plasma is oozing out your cerebellum. Attention! Yeah. F nigga, now you're swelling. You ain't talking hardcore now, is you? Little itch. Got him running scared of a bigger nigga because I put that heat to his heel figure. Now on that drinking on some that dank. My pistol's getting thirsty now. It needs another drink. Get the point, right? 50. It's just 50 of them. It's 50. I think we get the picture. I think we'll stop right there on that part. But notice, I think, what was your name, sister? I forgot your name. She was mentioning about Eminem. Yeah, being from Detroit, and he has definitely taken over the rap game. But the lyrics that he's put out there is trash. But notice it sold. Eminem is the only rapper with 2 diamond certified albums. His 2000 album, the Marshall Mathers LP, and his 2002 effort, the Eminem Show, were both certified diamond by the Recording Industry Association of America after selling 10 million copies each. Eminem is the only rapper to do this. Says you never know when inspiration will strike. That much is made clear by the fact that Eminem concocted his legendary alter ego Slim Shady while he was sitting on a toilet. The Detroit rapper took a by any means approach when it came to getting his daughter to play herself on a 97 Bonnie and Clyde, a song with a fictional story about M killing his then wife, Kim Mathers. In order to get Haley on the song, M told Kim he was taking her to Chuck E. Cheese. That's Russ the 5'9". I like that hat, though. I got to get that hat. I'm going to check out 313 store. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Quan. This is why Charleston White goes so hard against rappers. Facts. So let me read this lyrics. This is from Tom McDonald. Tom McDonald, he has a song called The Music Industry. Just look at all the rappers that the game's killed. Record labels making billions. Why can't artists even pay bills? You get taken advantage of, and you get taken advantage of if you take deals. They're the devil. Ain't no angels in the outfield. You get your chains and a bracelet, maybe a fake grill. You paid and you're famous, baby. It ain't real. Couple million think you made it, but the record label take it. When you overdose on alcohol and pain pills, give me a pen and pad. I'm gonna get in the lab. I'm gonna kill them with tracks. I'm gonna deliver the facts. Nobody holding me back. Labels are tricking the fans. Rappers are industry plans. Everything planned. I ain't brain dead. Never signed a deal. It don't make sense. Never let a label manipulate what I've made yet. Invading the industry independently, I break in. Kill the gatekeepers with a blade. Leave the gap band. Mainstream rappers see the fame, want to break bread. Soul ain't for sale. Never sell out trying to pay rent. Illuminati puppets. The industry hails Satan. The devil making deals. I won't shake hands. Independent, underrated. These other rappers all hate it. Going viral with no label, with no manager or agent. Call my mama. I've got commas and the money going crazy. And she crying, trying to tell me that she's happy for her baby. And then there's the chorus. You can keep your cash. I'm not that broke. I won't sign no contract. I do me. Y'all are canceled. Still people's dreams. How can you sleep? It's a rap pose, throwing cash in Lambos. I'm independent till I'm dead. I quit the music industry. Artists really only want to chase dreams. We broke all our lives begging labels, please take me. Tricked us into thinking getting deals is a great thing. Spent our whole careers trying to break free. The fans, they love us, trying to give them music they need. Label doesn't like it, that ain't mainstream. You're looking in the mirror like, what happened, man? This ain't me. I guess I ain't just what they don't want. I guess I don't see what they see. Give me a mic in a booth. I'm gonna die for the truth. I'm gonna fight for the youth. I don't got nothing to lose. Labels are hiding the proof. Look, I'm gonna give you a clue. Illuminati symbols are the logos major labels use. They're calling me an industry plant. I giggle and laugh. I'm the total opposite of what they want. I'm spitting the facts. I make songs about the honest things you whisper to fam. I've exposed the government. They want to kill me for that. I put the pedophile sex cults on infinite blast. I leaked the industry secrets and I did it with rap. How dare you try to say that my intentions aren't acting, that my vision is a pillar of their intricate plan? No one to manage my decisions on the pending gold plaques. No, you won't see my initials on official contracts. Independent till I'm dead, or I'm a very old man. Middle finger, I'm a missile that they can't hold back. Keep your cash. I'm not that broke. I won't sign no contract. I do me. Y'all are canceled, stealing people's dreams. How can you sleep? It's a rap pose. Throwing cash in Lambos. I'm an independent till I'm dead. I quit the music industry. Miss me with all that industry talk. Work my whole life for the things that I have. Why would I give you the keys to the car if you're just going to drive while I pay for the gas? Bars. I ain't going to come to your meetings no more. Told you already, ain't giving you half. Y'all can't wait to get your feet in the door, then lock me outside while you steal from my fans. Keep your cash. I'm not that broke. I won't sign no contract. I do me. Y'all are canceled, stealing people's dreams. How can you sleep? It's a rap pose, throwing cash in Lambos. I'm independent till I'm dead. I quit the music industry. Keep your cash. I'm not that broke. I won't sign no contract. I do me. Y'all are canceled, stealing people's dreams. How can you sleep? It's a rap pose, throwing cash in Lambos. I'm independent till I'm dead. I quit the music industry. That's all I wanted to present. That was it. That was it. Any questions? So, is Kanye crazy in saying what he said? Or are there hypocrites knowing that he said was true, but they don't have the guts or the testicular fortitude to stand with somebody when they're spitting the truth? I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, I agree, sis. I definitely agree. You said, what is a hand sign? What does that mean? It's part of the Illuminati, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's secret society, Illuminati, hand signs, things like that. Now, some people may do it, or the 3 6s like this. 6 6 6 3 times. That's part of the Illuminati secret society. When people intentionally do that, I mean, you can say okay, and you mean nothing by it. But when you have people a part of this industry and doing things, throwing little symbols and all that kind of stuff and all that, there's always a message. There's always a message behind that. But anyway, I'm done. I just wanted to put this information out there because I wanted to make sure that you all at least have the truth behind this, and hopefully by God's grace, this video won't be taken down. It shouldn't be, because I didn't capture any images per se. So let's see. Just going through my comments on Facebook and stuff here. Should be good. Okay. All right. So yeah, I appreciate that. And again, appreciate the super chat, my brother. And thank you, Son of John. Thank you, brother, for the super chat as well. Thank you all for supporting me in this live. I do appreciate it. But let's continue to keep putting information out there. Yeah, I am. I am, sis. It's just just a lot for me to try to get done and put together. But I always have my extra copies. So if YouTube is tripping, I always have that. And this is why I'm trying to create my wife and I create our own website, so that way our content can just go right there. We can direct people over to that site. But I definitely appreciate that. Chelsea, thank you, my sister. We're gonna have to hook up. I may have an off day maybe next Monday. If I do, I'll keep you posted if you have anything going on. If not, we'll work out something, because I definitely am. I appreciate the invite, and I wish I was able to join. But we'll work out something. We definitely will. So is what's his name gone? Is he gone? I guess he left the building, huh? Okay. Just want to make sure. Not running. Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to start working on that and doing that as well. So yeah, that's okay. It's all good. It's cool. It's cool. People mostly follow this stuff later on as well. So, but like we said, it's hey, we put this information out for those that are the remnant who want the truth. So hey, this is who it's for, and I appreciate that. But yeah, if you haven't liked the video, please like it. It helps us to get through the algorithms, and it helps you to get more notice for those who are looking for this kind of information. So we definitely appreciate that. We're going to be continuing to put out more videos. We're going to also let you all know how my wife and I let you all know how our new membership class is going. And so we'll be creating videos for that as well too, and we definitely appreciate that. So no other questions? Okay. Yeah, absolutely, sis. No problem. Absolutely. I definitely appreciate that. And yes, we're gonna do some live chats as well too on the marriage channel. Once we hit 1,000, then we'll be able to do some other things too, like monetization and stuff like that. But it's cool. But yes, if you have not liked the Love, Life, and Marriage channel, please do that. We definitely appreciate that. We really, really do. It helps us to get the content out. You said, what is the membership class? The membership class is for our church. We've been attending, and so we're in the process of joining. But there's a 7-week class that we are attending. We're in the 3rd week right now, and so we've been blessed by it. Like I said, we've been blessed by it since we had attended in June. So by God's grace, we probably will be joining. The church has been a blessing to us and our family. So but we just want to keep you all in the loop and let you all know the things that we've been learning and the topics that have been shared and the doctrines that have been, explained as well in those settings. So we'll keep y'all posted. We'll definitely keep y'all posted. So we definitely thank you all for that. Am I going to do a show or a live about Christians and Halloween? You know what? I'm going to refer you to Corey Minor. He did a video on that. I believe for myself, issue of conscience. I don't celebrate Halloween. Our family, we don't. But we do know that there are some who have alternatives to those things, and that's fine. But as far as us, wearing masks and costumes and things like that, we want to be mindful that we don't want to be a stumbling block for others. But I do watch the Great Pumpkin and Charlie Brown. Now y'all can attack me and judge me, but I got my videos. I've been having that since I bought them. I've been watching Charlie Brown since I was a kid. That's just a tradition. But I ain't looking for no great pumpkin. I just like the comedy behind it. But it's all good. Does my church go live? If so, when? Yes, they go live on Sundays at 10:30. At 10:30, and the name of the church is called Impact Church. Impact Church of the Woodlands is the name of the church. So you can check it out there as well. So yeah, yeah. Hey, absolutely, no judgment, sis. So do I. But not that candy corn. Forget that candy corn is of the devil. Anybody eating that thing saved? I'm just playing. But you need to test your salvation. You eating candy corn? Anybody eat candy corn or eating fruitcake on in Christmas? Y'all need to examine yourself to see if you're in the faith. You just do. Yeah. See, hey, come on, sis. Now they're warning parents of fentanyl pills among the candy. See, ain't nothing safe. That's why. That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why we don't. That's one of the reasons why. No, Dinah, come on. No, Dinah. Y'all pray for Dinah. Pray for Dinah. Pray that the eyes of her understanding will be open and that she will see that candy. Here's another one too. See all these candy corn apostates. All these candy corn Quam, you too. You know what? We're done. We're done. We're done. This ain't the love. This ain't the I love the candy corn show. No. We're not doing this. The devil is a lie. We're not doing this. Y'all need to get right with God. Y'all need to get right with God. Yes, you do. It's called Impact Church of the Woodlands. Impact Church of the Woodlands. Impact Church of the Woodlands. I actually have two services, one at 8 and then the other at 10:30. But you'll enjoy it. You'll be blessed by it. Yeah, I you know what? I may have to do a live on this candy corn and all y'all brave souls that talk about y'all love candy corn. I'm about to give y'all an invitation to camp up one day and explain to me, provide BCV why you like candy corn. They ain't nothing but crayons with sugar on it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I'm glad we can always have these types of fun little jabs at each other. But it's all good. But anyway, you guys, thank you again so much. I really do appreciate it. You all have a great Lord's Day. I was reading this question real quick. I think it's time we get to hear you update on the heretic Marcus Rogers. Lately, he's trying to purchase another building for a school and wants to have a TV network. 1,308 files, my brother. I you know what? Another brother, Proverbs was exhorting me to step back into that thing again and deal with it. And I'm gonna pray about it. And as the Spirit leads, I would definitely do and walk accordingly. But yeah, he's still a heretic. He's still a false teacher. Still a wolf. He's still not qualified to be anybody's pastor. Because he doesn't fit that. But I may do one as if the Lord leads and go from there. Tomorrow I may do a live and do a report on the Julie Royce and John MacArthur situation. Unfortunately, another member or former member had been assaulted, and the report is out on that. So I'll try to do one on that given the time. So I'll keep you posted, Lord willing, tomorrow. All right. But anyway, I'm out of here. You guys and gals have a great day And of course, y'all know the drill. You know the drill. Whatever you do all to the glory and honor of God.
You're still
God
here?
bless.
It's over. Go home. Go.